In this video, we're going to use a special way of calculating the magnitude of an earthquake using a seismogram. And the seismogram is the picture of wibbly lines that you get when an earthquake passes a point in the ground. So when we have information like this, you can see that the baseline is when the earthquake comes is before the earthquake comes and nothing is happening to the ground. And then the P wave arrives and there's a small amount of shaking. And then the S wave arrives and there's a large amount of shaking for a certain amount of time. And we're going to use this data to work out how big this earthquake actually was. So the first thing we need to use is this piece of data here, 30 seconds between the arrival of the P wave and then the arrival of the S wave. And that is given to us on the green scale. So we start off by marking 30 on the green scale, on the vertical line next to the green scale. So that's 30 seconds between the P wave arriving and the S wave arriving. The other piece of information we've got is how vigorous the most vigorous S wave was. So we have a height here in millimeters on our seismogram, and it says that our S wave, if we follow across this way, was 23 millimeters, the biggest one. So amplitude of the wave in millimeters, this is an odd scale because we go from 20 to 50, but probably about here, pretty close to the 20 for 23 millimeters. Now you need a ruler. I don't have a ruler on my computer screen, but I want to draw a straight line between these two pieces of data. We'll see how I go here. That's not too bad. And you'll notice that I've crossed the blue scale in the middle, the Richter magnitude, at just about 5, maybe just over 5. 5.1 on the Richter scale would be the energy, the reading for this earthquake. So let's have a look at an example that you can do for yourself. So on the next page, you'll see this example, a different time scale and a different height of the S wave. So you can try this for yourself. But we also have a different type of problem here. You're going to be able to do 4 problems using the same coloured chart at the bottom. So we'll do the first one together. So we've got a seismic station which is located 60 kilometers away from the epicenter of an earthquake. Here is distance away from the epicenter. So 60 is down here, so I'll put an X on the vertical line next to the 60. So we've got that piece of data done. We've got a tick. And the recorded maximum height of the S wave was 50 millimeters. So that's the next piece of data that we use. So the amplitude of our S wave was 50. So look at the vertical line next to the 50, and we'll put a little cross there. Now we have to get our ruler out and join the first cross on the pink scale to the red scale with a nice straight line. That's not too bad. And where it crosses the Richter magnitude in the middle gives us the Richter magnitude for that particular earthquake. So it looks like it's about 4.3 on the Richter scale. So we can put our information into the table below. So a Richter magnitude of 4.3, and that was for the first question where we had 60 kilometers from the epicenter and a height of the S wave at 50 millimeters. So I've done this first one for you. You have to use the same scale for the other 3 questions. You give it a go. And the last one's a bit of a challenge. You can make your own wave up. So you would start, this is where the S wave comes in here. So in this area is our P wave. So we need our baseline has got to line up with the 0. So in comes nothing is happening. And then our P wave starts. So up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And then the S wave comes in. So maybe I'll have a really big S wave coming in. I go up and down here, a little bit tricky on the computer screen. Yours will look better, but getting less and less and less as my S wave starts to disappear again and the earthquake calms down. So then I can put my readings onto here, start of my P wave. I've got my time intervals here and start of my S wave, and then I can look at the height of my S wave, and then I can calculate all the different values for my earthquake here. So you can make up your own and then try and use it on a friend and see if they can work out all the details for your earthquake.